Hello, everyone. Let me see some thumbs up. Can you guys hear me? Oh man, can everyone see me? Am I the thing that you can see? Let's see some thumbs up, yeah? Because I should be the only one talking. Okay, I see a lot of thumbs up. Oh yeah, Gail sees. Awesome. All right, here we go. So, we will get rocking and rolling here a couple minutes late, but you know that's how these things go, right? And so, I'm here with my dear childhood best friend Martin, who's going to be our officiant. Today is Martin's birthday, actually, and he has been kind enough to share this day with us and come out to Massachusetts and to officiate for us, which is really remarkable. For anybody who has technical difficulties from now on, we are recording this, and so we will have a full version that we'll be able to send to everybody. So if something happens not to be working, not a big deal. We'll have it on. We'll be able to send it out to you guys. Also, right now, everybody besides us is muted because whoever is talking will be what everybody sees. And so I'll unmute everybody at a later time and we can get some interaction going. But for now, we should be the only sound and we should be the only thing that you guys can see, except Xavier. I feel like he's doing homework right now, but what do I know? All right. I know you are. Okay. So I'm going to set this down and I will allow Marty to take it away.
Thank you. Okay, well, welcome everybody. Again, my name is Martin. I want to begin by just saying that I am going to do my best to be very loud and articulate, so I'm going to apologize for everybody here, but this is probably going to be the volume. To begin our ceremony today, the wedding of Greg Barrow and Jessica Stavropoulos, to begin, I'm going to bring out the groomsmen. So first and foremost, from Indianapolis, Indiana, Tom Barrow, Greg's brother. An amazing walk. You were born for the runway. Born for the runway, ladies and gentlemen. Next up, we got Scott Smith. Scott, Greg, and I have been longtime friends since high school. Scott has with him Henry Fournier, who is the grandfather of Jess and Katie, and we are thrilled to have him here with us today, and may his memory forever be a blessing. Next, I'd like to bring out the bridesmaids. To begin, Katie Stavropoulos, Jess's sister. Katie is currently studying to become a CPA, and I have no doubt in my mind that she will be incredibly successful in that venture. Next up, I'd like to bring out Katie's girlfriend, also Jess. Then I'm going to bring out Lexi. And then last but certainly not least, she made it all the way here from Colombia. I had to go through a lot of tumultuous trips to make it here, and we're thrilled that you could be here, Emily. So we've got the groomsmen, we got the bridal party. Time to bring out the bride. Scott, if you'd be so kind as to cue up the music. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the gang is all here. Once again, we are gathered here today to celebrate the marriage of Greg and Jess. We are here in Plymouth, Massachusetts. I imagine that many of you thought that we were going to be somewhere in Maine. We had an issue with our Airbnb being canceled, but something that I have seen time and time again from Greg and Jess is that they understand how to handle adversity head on through strength and communication, and their love for each other would not allow this wedding to be canceled or be pushed off, and we are absolutely thrilled to be here. I would hate to be blocking the view. We have a beautiful oceanfront view here in Plymouth, Mass, looking at the Cape. It is stunning. Just about the only thing more stunning than this view is, of course, Jess, our bride-to-be today. Greg and Jess are entering into this commitment with love and a desire for happiness, both as individuals and as a couple. They base this marriage on their love, trust, and unwavering understanding. Greg and Jess, today you are surrounded by your family, by your friends, and loved ones, all of whom are gathered to witness your marriage and to share in the joy of this occasion. Now, as you know, no priest or rabbi, no judge or public official can really truly marry you. Only you can marry yourselves by a mutual commitment to love each other, to work towards creating an atmosphere of care, consideration, and respect, and to face the tensions and anxieties that underlie human life. Together, you have the power to realize total fulfillment as you spend the rest of your lives with one another. Though we must not forget, marriage is not a static state between two unchanging people. Rather, it is a psychological as well as a spiritual journey that begins in the ecstasy of attraction, meanders through a rocky stretch of self-discovery, and culminates in the creation of an intimate and lifelong union. Now, it is a journey that will not be without disagreement, but if differences are faced openly, the possibility of learning from these conflicts will not be lost, and your marriage will grow and prosper. Continually share in each other's confrontation with reality, and be energetic on one another's behalf, even as each of you remains ambitious for your own development. Greg and Jess, we wish for you a love that makes both of you better people, that continues to give you a joy and a zest for living, that provides you with the energy to face the day-to-day responsibilities of life. Greg and Jess, we wish for you a home, not a place of brick, stone, and wood, but an island of serenity and sanity in an otherwise frenzied world. We hope that this home will be a place of joy and private retreat, a place where the values of your life are generated and upheld. We hope that your home will stand as a symbol of people living together in love and peace. We hope that your home encompasses the beauty of nature, that it has within it the elements of simplicity, exuberance, beauty, silence, color, splendor, and all the concordiance of the rhythms of life. We wish for you a home with books and poetry and music, a home with all of the things that represent the highest strivings of men and women. Finally, may your days and years to come be filled with the integrity and joy that will enable you to abide through all times of ambivalence and doubt. And if your affection for each other has always a little more to grow, it will rise from you and enter the lives of others, enriching and strengthening them. Now I'd like to take this opportunity to say a few words. I'll begin with Jess. Jess, you look absolutely stunning. This view pales in comparison to the way that you look today. I think that I made it a point to spend a little bit of extra time with you this weekend. The drive out to, was it Somerville? Hamilton. I was never going to get it. Yeah. So, you know, I jumped at the opportunity to spend a little bit of alone time with Jess. And, you know, we spoke about, you know, Greg and Jess's first date and how Greg made her laugh so hard that she snorted a frozen margarita out of her nose, where they then continued on to another bar and Jess, not to outdo herself, spilled a glass of wine on the person sitting next to her. So, and I think that's a phenomenal story. But I think that what I was really able to gain from my time with Jess is that the love that Greg and Jess share is built out of communication and understanding that there is strength in vulnerability. I think that through understanding each other's limitations, through being open and honest, and as I tried to weave into the speech here, you know, tackling the confrontations that life brings together, you two have created a union that is absolutely beautiful. Again, built out of communication and strength and love and unwavering understanding and the desire to work together through conflict. And I can't say enough how much for me it's an honor and a privilege to have the opportunity to be the officiant for this wedding. I can't thank you both enough for the privilege, truly. Thank you. Greg, friends become best friends, and then best friends become family. And you have been family for as long as I can remember. And it's going to be impossible for me not to cry my way through this, so I'm just going to do it. But I love both of you so much, and I really do consider both of you family. And I think I can speak for everybody here and say that we are all thrilled that you two are getting married, and we're all ecstatic to be here. And Greg, there's so many stories and things and remarks that I could say, but I think above all else, what I have to say is that I'm the youngest of four. I have 3 older siblings, and I think the day that I met Greg Barrow was the day that I got the brother that I've always wanted. And I love you so much. And again, this is a beautiful day, an absolutely stunning view, and you got a gorgeous bride, man. You killed it. You crushed it. You crushed it. I love you. So now we're going to move on to the exchange of vows. These are relatively, well, I will say they are scripted, and I do hope that Greg and Jess enjoy them. The first one begins with Greg. Greg, it's a charge. So the phrase is going to begin with I will you, and the adequate response, assuming you accept this responsibility, would be I will at the end, okay? And phenomenal. So again,
we're back.
So phenomenal. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we are at the exchange of vows. Greg, to begin. Greg, will you have this woman to be your wife, to live together in marriage? Will you love her, comfort her, honor and keep her, in sickness and health, and forsaking all others, cherish her as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Jess, will you have this man to be your husband, to live together in marriage? Will you love him, comfort him, honor and keep him, in sickness and health, and forsaking all others, cherish him as long as you both shall live?
I will.
Greg, in the script it says, please grab Jess's hands, but we've been doing this the whole time. I think it speaks volumes to your love. I think it speaks volumes to your love for each other that you came up here and you could not resist the urge to hold each other's hands to this moment. I think that's beautiful. Repeat after me here, Greg. I, Greg, take you, Jess.
I, Greg, take you, Jess.
To be my wife.
To be my wife.
To have and to hold from this day forward.
To have and to hold and to hug from this day forward.
For better or for worse.
For better or for worse.
For richer, for poorer.
For richer, for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
Jess, please repeat after me. I, Jess, take you, Greg.
I, Jess, take you, Greg,
to be my husband.
to be my husband.
To have and to hold.
To have and to hold.
From this day forward.
From this day forward.
For better, for worse.
For better, for worse.
For richer, for poorer.
For richer, for poorer.
In sickness and in health.
In sickness and in health.
To love and to cherish.
To love and to cherish.
Till death do us part.
Till death do us part.
Tom and Katie, if you could please be so kind as to present the respective rings to Greg and Jess.
There's a hole in that pocket.
Greg and Jess wish to exchange these rings as a symbol of their vows. In many ways, this is fitting because the ring is an ancient symbol of such vows. The circle was considered to be the perfect form of all forms in nature. The Greeks, wink wink, attributed mystical qualities of perfection to the circle. Yet the Greeks knew that perfection implied imperfection. Just as the perfect marriage, symbolized by the circle of the ring, must always contain the imperfections of the parties to that marriage. Because as we know, the parties are only human. Greg, repeat after me. I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a symbol of my vow.
As a symbol of my vow.
And with all that I am.
With all that I am.
And all that I have.
And all that I have.
I honor you.
I honor you.
Now, Greg, I have one last question for you. Do you, Greg, take Jess to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Jess, repeat after me. I give you this ring.
I give you this ring.
As a symbol of my vow.
As a symbol of my vow,
and with all that I am,
and with all that I am,
and all that I have,
and all that I have,
I honor you.
I honor you.
Jess, we're in pretty deep here, but I do have one last question for you. Jess, do you take Greg to be your lawfully wedded husband?
I do.
Ladies and gentlemen, Greg and Jess have now given themselves to each other by solemn vows, and with the joining of hands and the giving of receivings of rings, which now, please present the rings. You may exchange them. Gorgeous. Absolutely stunning. With the joining of hands and the giving of receiving of rings, all according to the form of solemnization of marriage prescribed by the state of Massachusetts, but most of all by the power vested in your own love, I now pronounce you husband and wife. Greg, you may kiss the bride. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present for the first time Mr. and Mrs. Greg
Okay, everybody. So at this point, my childhood friend John Mannheimer has a few words that he would like to say. And so let me just track him down and unmute him. Bam. I'll mute myself. John, the floor is yours.
Okay, congratulations. I'm so incredibly happy for you too. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just wrote a little thing that I'd like to read. I have long known that Greg Barrow would be one of the funniest people I would ever meet. From the time we were in third grade, that was never in doubt. I also knew early in our friendship that he was one of the smartest people I would ever know, and together we were a treasury of useful and useless knowledge. Our days of dominance on the middle school academic pursuit team, Indiana's Kid Quiz competition, showed as much. But in the early years of our friendship, through which we were inseparable, and I came to know his family and he knew mine, and we spent the night at each other's houses and amused ourselves in ways that made our parents not particularly happy, and through middle school into high school, I might not have guessed that, other than being one of the funniest and smartest people I knew, and maybe the best fireworks salesman in Indianapolis, or at least the top two, Greg would have come to have another distinction in my mind, as one of the best men that I know, and likely ever will. Not that I ever doubted that Greg was a good person. Greg has always been a good and kind-hearted guy. But here's the thing. From the day I first met Gregory Douglas Barrow at 9 years old in Mrs. Rumble's third grade class, where he could be seen wearing a brown suit and toting a briefcase, many of our pursuits together were not exactly academic. We have always been a formidable duo when it came to causing trouble. Though in our defense, we weren't your run-of-the-mill juvenile delinquents. Our shenanigans were far from lowbrow. We began by lampooning the Fox Hill theme song in scathing fashion that would have made Weird Al Yankovic proud, to climbing roofs, and once swatting around a tennis ball that we had doused in lighter fluid and set ablaze. Okay, maybe that one wasn't so smart. You don't remember that one? Tom was there. To rearranging the Northview Middle School sign, using the letters provided to replace the intended message with something slightly less inspirational. A prank which required more lexical talent than, say, throwing eggs at a wall or chucking a roll of toilet paper over a tree. When you talk about someone being intelligent, you often use terms like razor sharp, incisive, whip smart, and Greg was all of those things. From an early age, his exceptional intelligence gave him a lot of power, and as Uncle Ben, the one from Spider-Man, not the one from the rice box, said, with great power comes great responsibility. When we were younger, Greg and I both, I think, didn't always see it that way. We could be sarcastic and dismissive and ridicule and mock things, sometimes harmlessly, sometimes harshly, because it was easy. We were prone to not taking things seriously. But as Greg grew up and became the man that he is today, a man I deeply, deeply admire, I see that he doesn't do things because they're easy, nor does he do them simply because they're hard and he wants to show the world how great he is. He does these things because he knows he has a gift, a power that allows him to help people in ways that others simply can't. Over the last few years, I've seen Greg truly become a man of consideration and selflessness. I've also seen this guy with whom I've grown up come to love somebody in a way that I've never seen from him before. When I watch Greg with Jess, I see a sincerity and earnestness from him that I was not always accustomed to seeing throughout our 17 years of friendship. And though they're often joking and giggling, poking at each other, calling each other silly pet names and using funny voices, I can see my best friend, the closest thing I will ever have to a brother, looking at this girl with all the intention in his heart focused on making sure she is happy, comfortable, cared for, cherished, encouraged, safe, and deeply loved. As someone who has known Greg since forever, it's a beautiful sight to behold. I can see that Jess inspires Greg to be the man of integrity and generosity that he was always capable of being, a man who has become a personal hero of mine. I've known Greg for nearly 2 decades, and I expect our friendship to endure much longer. I've known Jess for a shorter time, but from the time we have spent together, I know that Jess is a caring, empathetic, non-judgmental, insightful, intelligent woman and a deeply kind person. I know that Jess and Greg will take care of each other because they each care about the other more than they do about themselves. And I don't know a whole lot about love and less about marriage, but that seems like a pretty good place to start. I love you both sincerely. So let us raise our glasses or whatever we may have in front of us, maybe our babies, and salute these beautiful newlyweds. I love you guys.
Wow, John, thank you so much. That was beautiful. I'm gonna mute you
Love
so
you.
that the screen comes back to me. That's so meaningful, and you hit the nail on the head, man.
We
Big
love
time.
you.
And so at this point, my college roommate, Mitch Brown, is a he is a rapper, a fantastic musician, a good friend of mine, and I understand that he wrote a couple lyrics for us that he wanted to say. So I'm gonna mute ourselves. Yeah, Mitch, the floor is yours.
And when they were talking about the satire and the wittiness of Greg, he completely threw me on the spot right here. So that's exactly what they were talking about. But I was meant to go this weekend, and I'm living back home with my parents right now, and I felt it was unresponsible to travel with them home. So I wanted to say I love you both, and congratulations. And I'll get back to you on the lyric, Greg. It needs to be a special one, so I got you.
Right on. Love you, man. All right. So at this point, I'm going to the ceremony is over. I'm going to unmute everybody in just a sec.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. He coming. Oh, Sharon. Oh.
Oh, there's Amanda and Carl.
Right at the other
Bonnie. Her grandmother Gail. The beer house is closed. I think it's interesting that like the person directs the chat. I think it's anymore. They're actually putting it in.